what is the point about getting into the communities? How can those companies that are working with us, what is the point? What is their role? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm kind of, I have a problem because I'm not sure if they know how to do it.
Nobody knows how.
How would you do it?
It's a vision. It's under the category of a vision. So my vision for things is that Web 2.0 and whatever we want to call it, the idea of this boundary between the customer and the company breaking down is changing everything. So we're talking about how it has to change our marketing, but we're not yet talking about how it has to change our marketing research. And the two for me are the same. So what does it mean to be involved with your community? The research that we do is an amazing opportunity to actually start to get to know our consumers as human beings, and for them to get to know us as human beings. But we don't want to step out from behind the wall, you know? We've got that wall up all the time, and we don't want to step out from behind it. And as marketing research firms, we don't necessarily want to do it. As companies that are doing marketing and brand managers, we don't necessarily want to do it. It makes us feel uncomfortable because it's not the way things have been. And yet it is the way things are moving.
Okay.
And there are companies that are doing more. The guy from Zebo.com,
yeah.
shoe company. This guy, he Twitters everything. He's out there, and if someone Twitters, he Twitters with all his customers, he's blogging, and a customer says, I want to go out for lunch with you, he drops it, he goes and meets the customer and talks with the CEO. He's, you know, it's flat. The guys from Threadless, who I was hanging out with in Phoenix, in Tucson a couple of weeks ago, and actually we drove to Phoenix with them. These guys, they've got their Flickr pages with pictures of their kids in their house online. They've got their email addresses. They've got their Facebook web pages. The Threadless community is 600,000 people, and these guys are members of it just like everybody else, but they're on the corporate side rather than on the community side. They've stepped out from behind the wall. It's got some implications, but they don't have to hire a market research firm to tell them what the consumer thinks. They're there all the time. It's almost like we're going to, in some ways, we got to figure out what our job is after we get the companies talking to the consumers, because at that point they're really close together. Right now we're profiting from the fact that they're apart, right?
Right.
It's not going to happen tomorrow. And at some point, you know, you're almost like the matchmaker, the person who makes the dates between people, and also then you become maybe a marriage counselor, and then maybe you become, you know, a lifestyle advisor, and the role of what we can do changes from just, you know, Jan has a message for Hans, so I'm going to get your message and I'm going to tell Hans. Now Hans tells me something and I go back and that's what we're doing now as market researchers. But really it's only one way. I'm telling him what you think. Because he doesn't, you know, it doesn't matter. I don't have to tell him that the company's thinking this. Maybe a little bit of that information gets there. This is different. It changes to two-way, and the kind of value that I can provide to that relationship has to change. It's a vision. I don't know where it's going exactly, but I do know that things are shifting and they're changing, and that some companies are on the cutting edge of this now, just like some consumers were on the cutting edge of Web 2.0 10 years ago when I was starting to look at it.
So more a threat for the classical companies, or is it potential like everybody argues right now?
It's both. It's always both. Crisis is you know, danger and opportunity put together, right? We're in a moment of crisis now. We're in a moment of change. We're in a moment of opportunity, and some guys are going to get their lunch eaten, and other people are going to be eating other people's lunch. And it just depends on what side of the track you're going to be on, right? And some industries probably are going to be very slow to change, and Exxon doesn't have anything to worry about. You know, people are going to keep. But other areas, it's really going to start to informational-oriented, strong brand-oriented. It's really going to shift and alter.
What is going to happen today? The afternoon, what you expect? What you expect from today?
From today?
Yeah, like meeting all these people.
Oh, me? What do I expect
waiting
today?
For crazy questions.
Yeah, I mean, you know, just planting a seed again, planting more seeds. That's all it is. It's just planting some ideas.
Dig out the nest.
Yeah. Just some new ideas. Some of them, you know, some of them will grow and some of them won't, and that's the business that we're in.
Thank you, Rob.
Yeah.